Hi, welcome to this week's episode of Project OZTOG, where we'll be tackling accessories. Quick introduction before we dive into it. I'm Rob, here's Chris. Welcome to this week, and let's get into it. So the first thing we're going to tackle is the issue of bags. Now, camera bags and camera storage have always been an ongoing issue. What's really good for one photographer is totally different for another photographer. What works in one situation doesn't work in another situation. And you'll find over your photography career, you'll probably cut and change bags a number of different times. Chris, what do you use?
I personally I've managed to limit mine to only 2 camera bags. There was a stage where I had about 5 or 6, but I've since gotten rid of those, and I'm down to only 2, I'm proud to say. So I think it's quite an achievement. Hold back the applause, guys. But I personally I have 2 peakdesign actually. I have a peakdesign backpack in the 30 liter, and then I have a peakdesign 15 liter, I think it is, which is a smaller bag. And actually, I don't even use the 30 liter anymore. I generally only use the 15 liter because I just find that I end up taking too much gear in the 30 liter. And I'm walking around with 10 plus kilos of gear.
Okay.
If I end up taking that bag. So it's just, for me, it's just not worth it. What about yourself, Rob? I know that you've obviously got a few different cameras and camera setups. So what's your kind of ideal camera bag?
So I have quite a few camera bags for different scenarios and stuff like that. At the moment, I'm really liking just normal bags, basically. So I have a 511 tactical bag and a Caribbean, like a hiking bag as well, that I use a lot. Basically,
so that's not even camera bag.
No, they're not even camera bags. So basically, what I'll use is like an ICE unit. So a camera cube. So I have probably 3 or 4 different camera cubes I use. So one's a lowepro, and I think the other 3 are off brands I've picked up from Amazon and stuff like that. And they provide me enough freedom to kind of customize them, put them inside the hiking bag. And, the bags are very, very comfortable. So you can carry them from long distances, have a bit of extra weight, heaps and heaps of pockets. They're like a tactical bag. And then, you have all the space, your extra stuff you want to carry as well. So there's a real lot of advantages for those. So generally,
you've gone a different route. Instead of actually getting a camera bag, you've gone like a compartment unit and put it inside a regular bag.
Yeah, and look, for me that works really, really well.
Yeah,
because I don't know.
Why not just put a divider, or why not just get a camera bag with dividers?
So I do have a few camera bags with dividers. I have 2 different size sling bags, which I use a lot if I'm only taking one camera and maybe 1 or 2 lenses for a job. So like for family portraits and stuff like that, I can get away with that kind of very, very small sling setup. I also have a larger shoulder bag, which I'll use for weddings, which can comfortably carry 2 bodies and 3 or 4 lenses, separate to what's mounted on the body, plus flashes and spare batteries and stuff like that. So that bag's really, really big. But I also have a camera backpack, and that's fully customizable. And it's a lowepro one, so it's really, really good quality. It will probably last forever, but I find that the hiking bag setup just provide me a little bit more functionality in regards to carrying other items. So if I'm going on holiday, I can take some clothes and stuff in there as well. If I want to take other equipment, so like my drone, chargers, computer, cables, power boards, all that stuff, I can chuck into that bag as well. And it just makes the weight distribution really, really comfortable because they're meant to be long distance hiking bags. So I tend to use that a lot nowadays, especially when we go into astrophotography and stuff like that. It's one of my hobbies. So I will take that bag out for astro a lot of the time, if not the small sling bag.
Yeah. You've obviously got quite a range there. What do you think is your personal, probably, like, what is your personal favorite?
I think my personal favorite is the 511 tactical bag at the moment, because the amount of stuff you can attach to it. So you can, put the different, internal units I have into that for camera gear, but also it's, there's enough room to take a water bottle, to strap your tripod to, hang extra stuff off if you need it. I find it really useful. I hang a little seat off it if I'm going out somewhere as well. It's a really good all-round bag. And then the camera gear fits into it really, really comfortable. One of the most important functions I like about it, people don't know it's a camera bag. So internally,
that's kind of what everyone wants, right?
yeah, well, internally it's a lowepro IC unit, so it's really secure, really high quality. But externally, it looks like a hiking bag. So not much, or even maybe just like an everyday backpack, basically. So it's a real win there for me.
Do you find the ICU unit bounces around much when you're out walking around?
No, because I've made sure I've got ICU units that kind of fit the bag. So they fit snugly internally. You know, they either fit vertically or horizontally, so they're nice and snug. So yeah, I have a few bags, or the two bags I use in particular, the IC units fit very, very snugly inside the bag, which was really important for me when I found them and measurements. I think if they bounced around too much, it kind of defeats the purpose. So
yeah, because that's always been my biggest hesitation, is having a ICU unit that basically just fluffs around when you're walking, and then you end up with gear that's just about as spruced up as the bag itself.
I think that's kind of what you want to avoid. I think if you're getting that bounced around so much, you might as well just go a dedicated camera bag, because the benefit you have of being like a selfie camera bag is kind of offset by the fact you're almost going to hurt your gear, really. So, and then, you know, you got the weight distribution bouncing around the place as well. So that comfort factor, again, you're losing that as well. So yeah.
Do you use any lens pouches or anything like that?
Yeah, so that was another interesting point. So I have a lot of pouches. So I've actually got some near me. Hang on a second, I'll just show you one.
Okay.
So I have a few of these like little pouches. This one's a crumpler one. The other one I have is a think tank one. And they work really, really, really well. So I know you guys can't see them on the podcast, but they're probably about 30 centimeters by like 15, 20 centimeters, depends on the two sizes I have. But I've got probably 3 or 4 of those. And what that allows me to do is pack accessories in them. Now, even when I use one of my camera bags, I still have these. So one will have like batteries, cables. That grey one there was my flash bag. So it's got both flashes in it, AA batteries in the front pocket.
So it's like a travel pouch for you.
Yeah, all I do is grab it and I know what's in it and I can go. So the battery one and the cable one, grab it, off you go. You know, it's got a charger and batteries in it. I know it's ready to go. So I find that really helps for 2 reasons. You can easily transport it across different camera bag systems, but also it keeps your camera bag really, really organized, which is, I think it's all about trying to keep that bag as organized as possible. It avoids losing things. And I think there's just a level of stress-free shooting in having it kind of organized. You know what I mean? You're not losing stuff. You're not having to, oh, where did I put that? Did I pack that? Because you can easily see and visually check.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I know we did my 30 liter, like we went out shooting event at the beginning of this year. And I think one of the things that I sort of noticed the most was that because in the 30 liter, there's a small little pouch just in above the zipper there.
Yep.
And I found out that it's quite easy to lose small things like AA batteries, any little tripod mount or accessory, things like that. You just figure out what kind of pouch they're sitting in, or they might be sitting under something. So I think having that kind of travel pouch or what you is a really good idea and really great for organization.
Yeah, I think the pouches are something that I've picked up only fairly recently, probably in the last year and a half. I think just the order they bring to your bag is really important. So camera bags are kind of like they're kind of morphed, you know what I mean? Like you'll find what's really works for you over time and then you'll stick with that. But I think one thing I've found throughout my photography career and the time I've shot is that it's really important to have that organization in a bag. And the pouch system is like, I remember when I first heard it, it just blew my mind. It is almost, it's like, that's so simple, yet, you know, it's just amazing. It blew my, I can't tell you, it was like being slapped in the face with a fish, you know what I mean? It's like, bang. It's like, wow, that's simple, but brilliant.
Yeah.
definitely worth
Yeah,
looking
I think-
into.
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth something to look into if you're not already doing that kind of system. But speaking of smaller bags, what are your thoughts on memory card cases and things like that?
Yeah, I think memory card cases are really, really important. Again, you
Yeah.
touched on it. Small things will get lost.
Yeah.
So memory cards, they're probably one of the smallest thing in your camera bag. Um,
Mm.
they are probably the smallest thing in my bag, to be honest with you. I'm just trying to think. Nothing else is quite that little. So
Mm.
if anything's going to go missing, it's probably that memory cards that's going to go missing. So yeah, memory card wallets, 100% really good idea. I use like a hard-sided waterproof one. So I think there's
Yeah.
Pelican
Same.
branded ones. There's a few other brands on the market as well. I would definitely go a really good quality one of those. One that you not because you think you're going to get it wet, but because it's really, really sturdy. And to me,
Yeah.
that's really critical. What about
Yeah.
yourself, mate? What do you use?
Yeah, so I think we actually use a very similar one. I use like a little hard case as well. I find that if you have it in there, it's less likely going to go missing, right? But the problem is that yeah, if it does go missing, then a lot of memory cards are going to go missing. But I
Yeah.
think it's the thought behind it that that you're essentially using these things as storage. Like you're putting your cards in there that have the content on them, whether it be images or video.
Yep.
You should at least have something to protect that, because the last thing you want is to either A, make the memory, like get the memory card missing, or B, damage the memory card. And I think in your bag that could quite easily happen, right?
Yeah, I think that's really important. They provide that extra element of protection as well.
Yeah.
So it's not always just about having that, I don't want to lose this, but it's also really important to make sure that the physical card doesn't get damaged, especially after you shot on it. You want to avoid that at all costs, really.
Yeah, definitely. Like I remember a while back, I had a card where it's actually started coming apart at the side, and I was lucky that I just managed to take it out of my before it's completely fallen apart, and I can't actually use it anymore, which kind of sucks. But I managed to get all the images and whatnot off it, so
yeah,
that was a small
you should
win.
definitely bin that card. Don't want to use that one.
Yeah, doesn't work anymore.
But look, I think with memory card wallets, it's really important. Again, like the hard side ones might not work for everyone. I know a number of lowepro bags that come with like card holders built into them. My big shoulder bag, it has one built into it. So literally, it's like a kind of like a keychain. At the end of that keychain, there's a card wallet. Really, really good size card wallet. I use that a lot still. So I don't always use the hard-sided one, but 90% of the time, the hard-sided one is the way I will go. But like I said, everyone has different needs. So go off your own needs, but 100% recommend a card wallet, even like a dual card wallet system after you shoot to put the finished cards in if you're not overwriting content by mistake, different colors and stuff like that. I know there's some available on Amazon at the moment that have like a card wallet, but also like a battery built into them as well. So like they'll hold 2 batteries and a number of cards and stuff for you. So to me, that's almost, again, that's maximizing space. So really, really good option for creatives as well there.
Yeah, definitely. What are your thoughts on camera straps? I mean, I know there's kind of a bit of a mixed opinion out there. Like I personally don't use one, and I pretty much have never used one. I just find that they're kind of more of a limiter than they are something to help you out. I can see why they would be handy, but for me, I just find that they end up getting the way 9 times out of 10.
Is that why you don't use them? Because you find them limiting?
Yeah, I just find them frustrating. I just find I don't even use them when I have it on my camera. I did have them on my camera when I first started out, and I just ended up putting it around my hand and using it as like an additional wrist strap, rather than actually putting it around my neck. And then afterwards, I just ended up finding that it got in the way too much, and so I was just with my second camera, I think it was, I just stopped using it. Like I didn't even take the strap out of the box. I was just like, no, there's no use for it for me.
Yeah, so I probably haven't used a strap that came with the camera for a number of years. But I'm a bit like you. In 90% of the situation, I don't use a strap. Again, I find it not so much limiting, but I find it gets in the way. So if you're shooting landscape or astro where you want to use a tripod, it really is something that gets in the way and potential to add vibration to your image, which means you're going to end up with potentially a soft image.
Yeah, I think that was my problem with it, was that every time I set up on the tripod, it just ended up dangling around the bottom of it. And I was just like, oh, this is so annoying.
Well, I mean, what I do use a strap for though is I do use a strap when I shoot weddings and stuff like that, and want to have dual bodies on, I will use a strap or two straps. Now, I used to use Black Rapids straps, and they were really, really good. I've transitioned to Peak Design. So I've actually got a number of Peak Design straps, a number of anchors. So I have quite a few cameras. So even on my smaller bodies or my film bodies, I've also got the anchors on there. So the Peak Design
I think the anchors, they're actually really handy. But
yes.
Straps a different question.
Yeah, look, I use the anchors a lot. They're on every camera.
Yeah.
And it means I can use the one or two straps for the whole system, and that goes on and off really, really easily, in and out of the bag, onto a strap. So when you're shooting weddings, look, the straps are really invaluable because it just helps that weight distribution for the day. And you could be on your feet for 6 to 8 hours at a time. Now, if you're using one camera and I'm using a small bag and it's in a quick shoot event or a family portrait session, again, no strap. I don't use a strap. But as soon as I get to a longer event or a wedding or something where I'm going to be on my feet for a number of hours, I pull out the Peak Design straps, and again, they just work. They're really good quality. They're super high quality. The anchors are super secure, and bang, off we go. They're awesome. The reason why I swapped from Black Rapid, again, personal preference. I just found the Peak Design straps a little more comfortable for me. The way they're attached, I like a little bit better personally. There's probably people who go, no, you're wrong. The Black Rapid straps are the best. They're the most comfortable. The dual harness, why aren't you using the dual harness for? I personally didn't like the dual harness. Maybe because I'm a bigger guy. I don't know. I just didn't quite like the way it worked. The Peak Design system, I can have two. I can have one on, and I find them very, very comfortable.
Yeah. I think that's probably one of the biggest bits of feedback that I get about the camera straps, talking to other photographers, is that the camera straps straight out of the box are like super uncomfortable. Different levels, but I think the Peak Designs, they're really good quality. I think some of the Black Rapids always also have relatively good designs. But for me, again, it's just personal preference. I just think it just doesn't really suit what I'm doing.
Yeah. Oh, look, I think sometimes straps just get, like I said, they get in the way. I find with Astro, for example, it's just another thing attached to the camera that's going to catch wind or it's going to catch vibration. Same with long exposures.
For that matter, really.
Sorry?
I said anything where you're doing long exposure for that matter, really.
That's right. I mean, they just get in the way. It's something that adds vibration. You just don't need them, and you can get away with it. Yeah. So I take them off. I do want to provide one bit of advice. Before we tackled this, I had a look on eBay, Amazon, and there's a whole heap of straps on there. AliExpress, what have you. There's heaps of straps on there. Please think about what you're buying. The cost of a strap in the store is probably $100 plus for a really good quality Peak Design one, maybe even $80 plus for Peak Design Black Rapid strap, a really high quality strap. Look at those. Don't look at the straps on eBay and go, oh, I can get one that's very similar. It's just not the same brand for $26, $15, $10, because the quality is not going to be there. They're not tested the same. And look, I have seen them fail. I've seen the metal clip on one of the Black Rapid imitation ones snap off and break. And I mean, you've just dropped the camera. So potentially you got to think about, you might not have that camera in your hand the whole time. The strap is there to support it as it hangs. If it breaks at the wrong time, your camera's on the floor. And not just your camera, but your expensive lens, flash, anything like that is just tumbled to the floor, and you have to start again or get it repaired. And more often than not, it can be cheaper to start again rather than get it repaired.
Yeah, Definitely, definitely.
So
Speaking of things that you put your camera on,
yeah.
I mean, we mentioned tripods earlier, just ago. But
Yeah.
what is your favorite tripod to use?
So I don't really have a favorite tripod. My tripod's a bit of a Frankenstein. So I think I've had my legs I've been shooting for probably about 20 years. I think I've had the set of legs for about, I don't know, 12, 15 years. So
Wow.
they're a really big set of heavy steel or metal legs. I think they're a Slick set made by Slick. They've been exceptionally good. I'm a 6 foot guy, so I really like a tall tripod.
Yeah.
Um, I also like a tripod that's really tall without the need to use a center column. Again, the higher the center column goes up, the potential you have for vibration. Look, center
Yeah.
columns aren't necessarily bad, but I like it to be pretty tall about a center column. Um, this one has the ability to take the center column right out or has the ability to have it in there. I always have a small center column in there where I can put it up
Yeah.
a little bit, but I've taken off the extension bar for the center column and go from there. I also like to chop and change the head. So I
Yeah.
have, and I was always used the manfrotto head on it. Again, before the manfrotto head, I had Benro head, and then I had the original pan head that came with it. I kind of changed, and now I'm using an Arca Swiss style head from smallrig. I love smallrig stuff. I think they're fantastic. Again, they provide really high quality, like from everything from arms, you know, L plates, cages, brackets, what have you. They provide a whole lot of really cool stuff. Their Arca Swiss plates are really good. Their bore head is really good. And that's on the tripod now. So it's kind of like a hybrid tripod, I guess. Like I said, a bit like Frankenstein, but it does the job. It's really sturdy. I have a small travel tripod. Again, Frankenstein. Took the original bore head off, replaced it with another small rig bore head. And it just means the head system are all Arca Swiss. Everything has an
Yeah.
Arca Swiss plate on it now, which is readily available at most camera shops.
Yeah.
It's
That's the way
easy.
to go.
It's easy to know when it's locked in as well, which I found sometimes with the Manfrotto ones, it was hard to know when it was locked in properly. Maybe it's just me, but yeah, I mean the Frankenstein tripods are working and they fit the bill, so I haven't really felt the need to kind of replace them. And plus, I think a replacement for the size I want it to be would be really
Yeah.
expensive. And at the moment, if I was doing heaps of hiking, yeah, I'd probably get something a bit lighter. But most of the time, it's only a very short walk, and the tripod's not that heavy, so I survive. What about yourself? I know you've had a few tripods as well.
Yeah, yeah. I have had a few tripods over the years. I actually started out on like one of those cheapest. I think it was off eBay. I think it was like $40 or something. Yeah, don't go with them. I know it's very tempting, but please do not go with them. They're just plastic. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're just plastic. That's the best way I can put it. But at the moment, I have a three-legged thing, which I quite like. I like the way it folds up to like literally this big. So like maybe 30, 60 centimeters.
They're
So
really good.
relatively small.
They're really good for travel, right? It's really light, carbon
Yeah,
fiber.
yeah. They're like a travel tripod.
Yeah,
And they're fully like you can pretty much take the legs out and clean them.
yeah.
Although I haven't, I should do.
They from the UK.
But sorry.
They from the UK.
Yeah, I think they're a UK brand. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But I think they have like they sell their product all over the world.
yeah,
So yeah, you can probably see it around the world. But yeah, I like the way that it's so small and literally just folds up and goes in the bottom of my 15-liter peakdesign bag. And literally just super easy to unpack and put your camera on within 2 minutes, I would say, and
yeah.
that's going very, very slow.
I have to
So
admit
yeah, and it's
that's
quite tall as well. I think it can hold up to like 10 kilos or something crazy. Not that
yeah.
I've put that much around there, but it's always good to know.
I have to admit, I think it's kind of one of the things I miss with having a big tripod that's quite big unfolded. So trying to attach it to many of the proper camera bags is really difficult. So it's probably one of the reasons why I actually went one of the hiking style bags, because it's easier to attach because they've got more attachment points. And they tend to be a bigger bag with a lot of anchor points on them, and that just gets the job done.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think having the capacity to be able to carry it on your bag, just it's a game changer. Whereas if you have to change it, if you carry it with your hands, I should say, it's just, yeah, it just creates more problems than it's worth, in my opinion.
I think you were doing a lot of longer to medium distance hikes, or like when we went to the dunes. I think
Yes.
it's great to have your hands free,
Yeah.
especially if you had like hiking sticks, or you had to really kind of style up something that was a bit steeper and you're clinging onto trees and branches to pull yourself up. Having your hands free is massive, huge.
Definitely.
Yeah, that ability to connect it to your bag is really, really big. So that brings us to another point. So L brackets, yes or no?
For me, it's a no at this stage, and I don't see the use. I can see why people would have them.
Yeah,
but that's not my problem. My problem is for me, I just don't see a use for them. What about yourself?
I like them. I've only really
Yeah.
got into them the last couple of years, probably 3 years. Actually maybe a little bit longer. The ability to go landscape, portrait, and connect it to the Arca Swiss style head is exceptionally easy. I think as I got into more mirrorless now as well, I feel they give an added level of security to the mirrorless. So one of my cameras is actually, I'm not a video person, but one of my cameras lives in a video cage.
Yeah.
I like the little minimal amount of weight it provides, but the extra security it provides is huge. I can then attach Arca Swiss style plates on it. It clips straight into the Arca Swiss style forehead as well. So it really just adds that level of functionality. And if I was a video person, I can attach extra lights, field monitors, all that stuff with it. Both of mine are.
It's more the cage, right?
Yeah. But I mean, even the L bracket, my one's a small rig, so you can actually attach them as well.
Okay, that's handy.
Yeah, so I think that really adds to the functionality of them as well. So even on my DSLRs now, I have an L bracket for them. So it just means it's probably not quite the same as ones I have the mirrorless. It's just very much a basic L bracket just to put on a tripod. It just adds that level of kind of functionality, especially if you are going to stitch penos together. Again, I think it's personal preference. You might not be a portrait style kind of shooter. You might never shoot a peno. You might enjoy using a pan head, so it easily moves to that level. But yeah, again, I think they're really invaluable, and I don't think I'll ever go back to not using one now.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, you make good points there. They make me think I should get one.
Well, I think if you shoot mirrorless, I think they're not that dear. And I think they provide a pretty high level of extra security to the mirrorless camera, but they also provide a level of functionality which is fairly good as well. But I mean, if you use the Manfrotto head, or a head that didn't have an Arca Swiss style plate, then really it's difficult as well, because you have to get multiple plates to attach to them, and then you're looking at video cages and stuff like that anyway. Yeah,
that's true.
Definitely, if you shoot video with field monitors and stuff like that, I think you almost have to have one.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Well, the other question I had in regards to the L brackets and stuff, do you exclusively use Arca Swiss style plates?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. So I transitioned, like when I had the Manfrotto head, I had a few Manfrotto plates, and I transitioned to the Arca Swiss style. I find, I really like the Arca Swiss style. I like how the plates come in different sizes as well.
Yeah,
I find that really helpful. So yeah, I think I kind of did that at the same time I actually found the L brackets and stuff like that. So that's why I think it's been really important.
See, I only have one tripod that has the 200 PL, and like I pretty much only use that for home shooting stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't really. Pretty much everything else is Arca Swiss.
Yeah, so I really liked the 200 PL. I thought it was a really good, and it's a really super secure plate once it's clipped in. The problem I had at times was trying to release that and actually physically getting it clipped in. Now maybe it's because the head on my tripod was getting a bit older, so the mechanism was getting a bit worn out. But I just found it was hard to get 100% sure of that connection. So I kind of have really avoided it. But yeah, my opinion is Arca Swiss is now the way I probably will be shooting for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, from there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I agree.
I think that brings us to the end. So what we want to do is do a few of these episodes where we just talk about different accessories and stuff like that. Don't want to be specifically talking about this camera is better than this camera and stuff like that. I don't think we're those type of guys where we go, hey, this is the best camera ever made. It's better than this brand, or brand A is better than this brand. But I think accessories is kind of a really important area of photography that a lot of people kind of brush over. And when you start out or throughout your journey, you spend a lot of money on accessories.
Yeah.
But, bags can cost anything from probably $30 up to $500 or $600, depending on the size of the bag. Tripods, again, can be a money pit as well. Like, you can spend a lot of money on tripods. L brackets and stuff like that. Yeah, you can get them really cheap on eBay, again, on Amazon, but you try to go reasonable brand. Don't go the super cheap ones. You're going to get it's going to be like plastic, and it's just not going to be what you want. But I think there's a lot of value to be had by talking about some of the accessories that we commonly use.
Definitely.
So if you have any questions about any accessories or anything that you want to find out or us to do a bit of a deep dive into, let us know. When we have guests on as well, we're going to try to, pick that person's brain about what they use and the equipment and the programs they use and why they use those for as well. And we'll provide you a commentary about what we use and why we like it, and where we've come from a little bit, like we have this episode. So, yeah, anything you want to add to that, Chris?
Nope, hit the nail on the head. We're trying to cater it to our guest speciality.
Yep.
But other than that, if you have any questions or if you have any recommendations, let us know down below.
Yep. Hit us up in the comments if you have any opinions about the gear we discuss as well. Now, like I said from week one, just because we discussed it doesn't mean we won't re-dive into it. So if you have anything about like, hey, you said L brackets are awesome, I don't think they are, this is why I don't think they are, let us know, or come on and talk to us about it and give us your point of view. If you go, well, the 200 PL plate's phenomenal and I don't know why you'd ever use Arca Swiss for, let us know that. Give us your feedback and let us consider that as well, and give us your opinion. We want that. But yeah, guys, look, thank you again. If you've liked what the episode's about, if you like what we're about and the concept behind what we do, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, comment, get behind the channel, and we'll catch you next week. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Cheers.